what are your names in relationship to the library?
I'm Carla Panciera. I run the book club here, and I'm a great reader. I'm here all the time to get books. I'm also a local writer.
I'm Priscilla Serafin, a resident of Rowley, and I've been coming to the library since we moved to town in 1995, and I've been coming to the book group that Carla runs for us since it first started, which was
It was the year before we moved here. Started in the old library.
Okay, so tell me about that. How did it get started?
So I was home. I am a teacher, and I was home we moved here in 1995. I was teaching at Burlington High School at the time. And when my first daughter was born, I had to be home, and I was looking for something to do with my time. So I sent flyers out to all the different libraries, and I said I could run a book club, I could do a writing workshop, and Becky Shea, who was the librarian at the time, she got right back to me, and she said that at the time, the library didn't have a lot of adult programming, and she would like to try a book club. And that's how it got started. So we had one meeting at the old library. I think there were
five or six of us. I went to the initial meeting, and we were in the basement with the bright red shag carpeting. And Carla was there, and I don't remember the book.
We read, I just looked it up, Empire Falls by Elizabeth McCracken. Yes. And it was a real basement room, too. There was one window, and it was like a basement window. So not a great place to meet. And then we went on hiatus for a couple months while they finished this place. And then we came back here, and the first book we read for this library was Poisonwood Bible by Barbara Kingsolver.
One of my favorites.
Yeah, that is great.
That's great. So you said that you started in the local history room?
We met in the local history room, yes. Now we meet in the big room. But we started here. And it was small. It took a while to get going. We would have, maybe 5 members, sometimes 3 members. But the turning point, I think, for the library book club was we did a local book. I can't remember the name of it, but the writer, his name was Anthony Weller. He's from Gloucester. And it was about this part of Gloucester by the Annisquam River succeeding from Massachusetts because they didn't want their bridge to be rebuilt of girders and steel. I guess it's a wooden bridge or something. I don't know. And in those days, we put up flyers. And somebody who knew Anthony Weller came through, and they saw the flyer hanging, and they called him, and they said, one of the local libraries is doing your book. So he called and said, can I sit in on your discussion? And I got nervous that it would be one of those nights when only 3 people came. So I got in touch with Priscilla and some other people, and
we brought in backup.
We brought it up, but they ended up staying. So, that formed the core of the people who would show up almost every month, and then other people would come in and out.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
But that was, having the author, though, posed one problem, which at the end he offered to sign the books. And, of course, we all had a library copy of the book.
Yeah. It was really awkward. It's like, oh, look at all those books I could sign. And we were like, oh, boy.
Nobody bought any of those books.
Which was great. It was wonderful. Yeah, and since then it's gone. I mean, weirdly enough, this year we broke a record. We had 19 people who showed up for one book. And beyond people showing up, people email if they can't come. And they say, oh, I can't come tonight, but here, this is what I'm rating the book, and this is my comments on the book. And then the group will say, well, if so-and-so's not here, did she send her thoughts? We'd like to hear what she has to say. So it really has, I think, attracted the attention of a lot of people. And it's not just people from Rowley. We have somebody from Merrimack. We have regulars from Ipswich and Newburyport. So it's great.
And everybody's on the email. The email contact has really helped us out since it started, because since Carla has everyone's email, an email goes out every year that tells us what books we're going to be reading, and also as a reminder, like, oh, we're meeting next week. And then we get the email, and you can see it's like there are people on the email list who've never come to the meeting, but they've been faithful followers of the books. So it does even help people beyond the ones who come to the meeting find really interesting, thoughtful books to read.
Yeah, we have 53 people currently on the email. So list.
And there are some people who come for a while and then maybe they take a break for whatever reason and then they'll come back. Or there's some people who tend to show up whenever it's a historical book or a local author.
We have people who come who haven't finished the book just because they like to hear the discussion. It's a very lively, fun, flexible group, I would say.
Flexible group. And we've started our own innovations like the star rating system.
Yes.
How did the rating system start?
Somebody for my birthday, one of my friends who's not in book club many years ago, she bought me a little book club journal. And it's been great. And it just had stars in it. So now I think we are on our 4th or 5th journal. And we take notes so we know who's been there and who's new and just a little bit of our history. There was a time a few years ago when somebody said, well, how many books have we read and what have we read? And I put the list together. And I had it from like little scraps of paper in my house or old emails I had not kept. You know, in the old days, I'd say, oh, it's October. What are we going to read in November? Whereas now, as Priscilla said, I come up with a list beginning of the year. So now we're going to read this month. We're reading The Lincoln Highway, which is our 213th book.
Wow. That's incredible.
So we have dreams of maybe making like a poster or having a shelf in the library that has all the books that are just, but maybe the poster would be better because we could put at least like the star rating system or something on it. So it's like, oh, they love that I reference.
You're essentially Rowley's Oprah. Like you know.
We are. Yes, I like that.
Yeah, you're the tastemakers.
And we read everything. We read, you know, science stuff and other nonfiction and history, and biography and memoir and lots of fiction.
Often what people say is in the discussion, like, I would have never picked up this book, but I actually really liked it.
We just read our first real fantasy book, The Encyclopedia of Fairies, and I would never have picked up a book like that, but a friend of mine was reading it. She loved it, and I thought, put that on the list, I'll research it. And people have now read all 3 of those books.
Are there any other memorable moments from your years?
The field trips, definitely. The field trips. We often, if we find a book, we read a book about Dogtown in Gloucester that inspired a field trip. That Dogtown, true to its history, really sort of threw us a loop.
It swallowed up one of our members for a while, but we found her.
We found her. And we did what was the brewery trip?
We read
The Tea Party.
Yeah, we read Sam Adams' biography, the new one by Stacy Schiff last year. So we went to the Tea Party Museum and the Sam Adams Brewery. We went to, we used to read, and we read Dracula one year, Bram Stoker's original. And then we went to this really great production
In Amesbury.
Yes.
The Amesbury Playhouse.
It was all like total, like cheesy, vampy stuff. And we had a blast. That was fun. We've gone to the New Bedford Whaling Museum. We've been to the Isabella
Stewart Gardner. We have photos of that, which we could, I know I have that photo. We can add to you.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I want to see that. That is one of my favorite spots.
Yeah, it was great. And we persisted through COVID. So we do not usually meet in July and August, but during COVID, especially because we have a lot of, we have all ages, but a lot of our members are seniors and we felt like they would be very isolated. So for the at least 12 months during COVID, we did Zoom meetings and that was great too.
That was good. That worked pretty well. I mean, we don't do Zoom now. Like it would be hard to join the discussion with partial Zoom and partial in person.
Right.
So it has gone back to in person, which is nice.
We had a movie night for Rebecca.
Yes.
With candy.
No, that's great.
We've already celebrated our 20th anniversary. That was last year in November or December. We had a potluck here. And we had to bring theme food, something that matched something we'd read. We've had local authors, for sure.
So what is it about this book club that is different from other ones?
Well, I have friends who've been in other book clubs, but they're very socially centered. They're at somebody's house and they have wine and they have food and they take turns maybe picking the books. But the advantage of this is it's in a neutral public space. You can certainly encourage your friends to come or do it with people who you've met from book club, but there's always the opportunity to have new people come in or people you don't know yet that you might meet, and the pressure is off on the food and the wine. And when you're here, you're really going to talk about the book. You're not going to have a glass of wine and get off topic. And having the book club is like having almost a college course or a continuing education. And it's like we get the syllabus from Carla, which like these are our books for the year, and this is what we're going to read. And it's very exciting. And you know that you're going to learn or you're going to be exposed to new ideas or new books that you wouldn't have picked up.
I guess in general, when I started out doing book club, it was for me because I was home with kids and I'm thinking, what am I going to do with myself? And it has been the way that I interact with this community. And it is one of those things that has really made Rowley feel like my home. I didn't grow up here. And it's amazing to be in the grocery store and see book club members or, I think it's blown my mind how many people read and how many people read well and how many people are excited about books, but also lots and lots of friendships. I mean, some of your best friendships came out of book club.
Oh yeah. Some the women that I talked to, I'm like, oh, I wanted to start playing golf. I'm like, anybody play golf? You can find like a golf partner. You can find a bridge, fourth. You can find other things. But speaking of like the value of the community, like when you think about what's happened to the people in California with the fires, like this is the kind of thing that they have lost, that we have to really, I feel much more gratitude for having it because it's community in the best way. And it's, it's because not because the building is here, but because the people are here.
Yeah, absolutely. One thing that I've been asking everybody is, what do you think makes Rowley Library so special?
Well, it is a place to gather. It's a beautiful building. I mean, if you talk about functionality, first of all, there are places to meet. They're well lit, welcoming spaces. So you have that. And I think it gives you the opportunity to get together with people in your community. So I've been involved with the friends. I've done the book sale. I've done the cookie thing. I just feel like it's, where else would you gather now? Now we have a coffee shop across the street, but we didn't have anything like
Right.
that for so long.
Well, there's no commerce to it. Like we don't even have to pay overdue fees because we keep the books all month for book club. So it's nice to have a place where you can go, and it's really nice that it's now, at least it's pretty much open every day. Like for a long time that didn't happen, you had to sort of check the hours, but it's pretty consistently open now. Like you can just say, oh, I'm gonna pop over to the library and it will be open, which has been nice.
I also
Yeah.
think, this is for readers, but the consortium is really huge.
You can find
You
anything
can get any book that
on
you want
there,
to within days, and now we have the library of things. The heck.
which is
Power
great.
wash your
That
house
should be,
and
I
read
want them
classic.
to buy a tractor and a bobcat.
Came in last week. I'm just dropping off books. A colleague of mine who lives in Bongsford, I think, he was here with his 2-year-old. He's like, oh, because he works in Ipswich. And he's like, oh, yeah, another one of our colleagues who has young children. He's like, he tells me he comes here at least once a week, and we go into the children's room, and that's what the library offers.
That was at story hour for the young kids. That's where I found a lot of great friends. Like when you're in Rowley, probably pretty newly arrived, and you have a 3-year-old, you should come here.
Oh yeah, I did want to ask you about the mural.
The mural was a good idea, and Glenda came up with the idea for the mural, and it was in her enthusiastic way, which I loved. She was like, let's paint it now. Let's get it up. And I remember I had to be, okay, but maybe we should paint the wall, prep the wall. So all that kind of had to happen. We got the mural up, and I met with officers from the Friends who were kind of figuring out how the giving tree aspect of it would work. And I must admire her vision, because the Friends, I think, had been sending out a mailing for membership, which really wasn't working and was pretty dated, using snail mail to try to reach out to people, and then get them to take the initiative to send money back to the Friends. So I wanted to do whatever I could to help move that forward into a more accessible thing, and especially a visual sort of carrot or reward that people could get by owning a leaf on the tree. And I really thought it was a great idea that the tree needs to lose its leaves and be re-leafed every year. So in painting it, I tried to make it a tree that wouldn't just look barren and depressing when its leaves are gone, but not have so many leaves on it. It is stylistically partially modeled over our majestic copper beech that sits at the end of the graveyard. I can't say for sure that it, a botanist will look at it and go like, oh, that's copper beech. But in my head, it's our copper beech, which I love. So that's the story of the tree. And I don't know if you've ever looked at it when you're walking by it. Part of the fun I had of painting it was making it in the trunk of it in the corner, so that as you walk around it, you kind of get a different view of it as you're walking by it. If you just sort of keep looking at it as you go across the room, it's kind of fun.